Going all in on men in your career, if you aren't one, is the biggest mistake that you will make in your career, period. Sydney Sweeney is a perfect example of this. So the new movie that she's in called Christy, about a female boxer, true story. This is totally her, like, she's trying to have her biopic moment here. It flopped big time over the weekend when it opened. And the reason for that is because who do you think was going to go see that movie? That's not men wanting to go watch her in, like, some pretty outfit. This is her, like, quote, ugly role. Like, she's just going to try to be a really good actress in this. And you know who pays to go see those movies? Women who are like, oh, that's interesting. That's a great role. I'd love to go see her in that role. And women who go all in on the male gaze always really shock me because it's like, girl, the first thing that ever fades is the want of the male gaze, right? Like, you turn 27 and everybody's like, you're old. And they move on to they churn you out of the machine. So why on earth would you think that people would come and see your movie after there has been scandal after scandal after scandal and you have just been shoved in our face all the time, have shown that you are not an ally in any way, shape, or form to anyone, including women, and you think an abysmal GQ interview and a walk through Central Park with your weird sock-wearing boyfriend is gonna fix it?
Okay, so I have this theory that if I film with my mic on my phone, and if I mute the audio from my camera and just connect this audio while I'm editing the podcast, then we have good audio. And if my theory works, then
I am Albert Einstein reincarnated. Don't fuck with me.
What is up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Rehinged Diaries podcast with your host, Ali Karza. Long time no see, you guys, okay? We'll yap and recap on my life and why I've been gone. All of that good stuff at the end of this video, but we have to jump right into today's podcast episode topic. And it's gonna be on Sydney Sweeney and when pretty privilege backfires. Honestly, I was gonna make today's episode, like, I was really struggling on the topic, like, name. I'm like, should I call it Is She a Sellout or not? But I really feel like I want to, like, continue the pretty privilege series that a lot of people enjoyed, and it's something that I'm really passionate about as well. But Sydney Sweeney. For those who are not aware or they just don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, she is very well known for the very popular show Euphoria. Especially season 1, it was peak. It was peak. It was phenomenal. She plays Cassie Howard, and it is everything. Like, I fell in love with that show immediately. It's kind of funny because when the show first came out, I didn't watch it, like, immediately because I didn't have HBO Max. And it was one of my friends begging me to watch Euphoria. She's like, Ali, it is so you-coded. You love the makeup, the shimmer, all of it. Like, literally all that it represents. She's like, you would love it. So she gave me the password to her account. I saw it, and I was like, Maddie, of course, and then Cassie, like, fell in love. And what's so interesting about Cassie Howard's, character, I already made a whole podcast episode in regard to her character, so if you want a deeper dive into that, then definitely check it out. I'll be in the link in the description. But what's so interesting to me, it's how much, like, there was literally an interview that Sydney Sweeney was in where she's like, it's kind of interesting, the role that I played, Cassie Howard, and Euphoria, and how sexualized she was. And then now it's happening to me in real life. She's like, it's just so bizarre. Like, did no one watch the show? Did no one get the meaning behind the show?
There was a storyline of what is happening in Cassie and the sexualization that's happening in Cassie because of her nude photos that got leaked and just the perception of others on her because she has boobs. And then I see that happening to me in real life, even though everyone watched Euphoria. I go, well, did you not
Did you miss the point?
Did you miss the, exactly.
Yeah, that must be really frustrating.
Exactly.
Things change slowly.
You get used to it.
It's just so interesting, like, knowing where she is, the path that she's in right now. Because it's like, there was, like, that version of her at that time. She's like, it's like she was so passionate about a message and there was just so much depth to her. Whereas now it's like, it's very interesting the path that she took. But I also, like, felt very conflicted on making this podcast episode about, oh, did she become a sellout or not? Because I don't feel like she did. I really don't. And we'll talk about that. I know. I know some people probably side-eyeing me. They're probably about to click the unsubscribe button. But hear me out. Hear me out. So when it comes to, everything that has transpired after that, when it came to season 2, for those who are not aware of season 2, and I know people are probably like, why are you talking about a show when we're talking about Sydney Sweeney? Hear me out. Because a lot of people argue that Sydney Sweeney is just playing too much into her character from Euphoria. Especially for season 2, she played this, girl who ends up taking her best friend's man. And the loyalty that she should have had towards her friend was like, the controversial thing. And it was the whole drama of the whole season. The whole point was she didn't have a backbone. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's really like how she is in real life because she ended up being someone who didn't have a backbone. Or they're like, that's kind of bizarre that you're someone like I said, I obviously don't know Sydney Sweeney, but how she came off as when like season 1 came out, someone that had so much depth and she wanted to like be known more from what she was, being viewed as. She wanted to, have a message and like show more. Like the really interesting thing that was so frustrating about all of this was the fact that like I remember when she was like peak, like season 1 just came out, she's getting so much praise and love, and that she had a fascination with cars.
A 1969 Bronco, and I started creating little TikTok videos because it was easy to make them and fun to put music behind and switch it up with that.
I don't know if anyone remembers that, but I thought that was so cool because I love a girl with hobbies for one. And then 2, I always feel like when it comes to people that are just like known for their looks, a lot of them have depth. Some people literally have the brain of an acorn, okay? Those are the people that never struggled and went through the ugly phase ever in their life. They were always hot and had everything handed to them on a silver platter. For those like us who got some grit in our personality, there's so much depth. I thought that was so cool that it's like, oh my gosh, like she's into cars. I wonder what more we're gonna uncover when it comes to her. And then season 2 of Euphoria came out and I was just like, oh my God, like she played a scandalous role in her show. And I feel like as time went on, obviously season 3 has been delayed. Like how many years has it been since we've been waiting for season 3 and it's finally coming out in 2026? And what? It was like 2020 for season 2? 2021? 2022? Oh my goodness, that's still a long time. So much time has passed, but like from what I've seen, like I remember the first scandalous thing that Sydney Sweeney said or did was when like there was that article that came out where she was like, oh, well, like being an actor doesn't really pay the bills. Like I'm struggling, like whatever. Like it was something in that regard. I'm going to try to look for that article. But like if you kept up, you would know about that article. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, like there's people out there working 4 or 3 jobs and they're barely getting by. And it's like, you're an actor, boo-hoo. But for me, what that told me was like, it was a big indicator on the path that she ended on taking, because that's the thing when it comes to like building your legacy and like in this industry specifically, is it's not rewarding staying authentic. No one wants to talk about that enough. And that's kind of why I wanted to say like this is a good example of Pretty Privilege striking, because it's like she's such a beautiful woman. And what's even more interesting, I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like my brain is just like, I want to give every point across and I hope I'm making sense. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, there's like 20 different things I want to say right now. Hopefully I'm making sense. What I found very interesting is that recently in Sydney Sweeney's, red carpet appearances, she has been wearing like a corset, like her waist is non-existent. And everyone's been like talking so much about it because obviously when you wear a waist trainer or a corset, what does it do? It pushes your girls up. Speaking as someone who's wearing one right now. So interesting is that like a lot of her looks, for me personally, like I said, I don't know if it's her team that decided this or if it was her, but I feel like she's definitely embodying Marilyn Monroe. Like the looks are definitely inspired by that. Even the hair, I feel like the curls. So interesting to me because she could have been the next Marilyn Monroe. That's how iconic she was. Like she was really going down the right path. And I'm like, if she stayed true to who she is, like, she really could have been the next Marilyn Monroe. But why was Marilyn Monroe's story such a tragedy? It's because it's not rewarding being authentic in this in this industry. Like, why do you think influencer culture is what it is? Why do you think celebrities hate influencers? Because it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding to sell yourself out, to take every single brand deal that doesn't even align with who you are or your image, but you want to get paid because we obviously in this economy, we want to get survive and make a living. She could have really went down that path and been the next Marilyn Monroe. And like, because Marilyn Monroe, Listen, I might not be able to tell you every president we've ever had. I might not even be able to tell you all the planets and name them. Like, bitch, you know what? Like, there's literally a cricket in here. But when it comes to pop culture, when it comes to Marilyn Monroe, because I love my girl Marilyn Monroe, her story is so tragic because of the fact she fought so hard. Like, that was her, like, value. Like, her deep value was, oh, like, I want to be known more than my looks. Like, I'll even take on roles. Like, I'll do, like, speak out and, like, you know, on certain things that are, like, deemed controversial that someone that looks like me shouldn't speak up about. Like, I want to be known more than what I look like. And it's sad because I feel like she passed away thinking that. Thinking I died and lived my time on this earth and no one saw me beyond my appearance, which breaks my heart. And that's why I love her so much, because I see her more than what, you know, she was known by. And it's sad because it's not rewarding. It is not rewarding. Any iconic person in pop culture and anything will tell you it is not rewarding fighting to, you know, build your legacy. Like, you're going to take so many L's for such a long time before you have many wins. And I think, like, she went down that path. Like, well, she had a decision to make. She's like, okay, I can sit here and fight and, like, you know, won't get rewarded as much, won't get as many brand deals, won't get as many opportunities and roles if I stick true to my character on, like, being true to who I am. Or I can lean into the sex appeal and this, like, you know, whatever. And it's, like, so unfortunate because it's like she really could have played the game, because Marilyn Monroe was playing the game for so long. And it's like there's so many people that, like, fall into that trap. It's so crazy the path that she ended up taking, because I'm like, wow, like, there's so much she could have done. I bet there's so many other things, like, there's so many other routes she could have taken, but I get it. We're in an industry, we're talking about an industry where it's not rewarding to, like, sit there and, like, show depth and, like, actually work hard. I think that's kind of why a lot of people despise influencers and influencer culture. But a lot of people feel some type of way, like, why is it people that are not working as hard as I am, this instant, like, reward? But it's like, it's unfortunate. Like, I get it, but I also, like, it's frustrating. Like, it really is frustrating. So I'm like, damn, like, I wish that she had sat there and took a different route. But it's like, this is the culture, you know? And it's like, it is also disappointing, and I think many people are disappointing because of, like, how she portrayed herself when she first was rising to fame, where she was this girl, like, oh my gosh, I want to prove a message. Like, as Cassie Howard, her character in this show, I wanted to prove a message that there's so much more depth behind people who crave attention, who crave admiration. And that is why that's the main complaint that people have when it comes to Cassie, well, now Sydney Sweeney, because they're like, she's playing too much like her character. Because, you know, her character in the show, she loved attention, will do anything for it, and was so hungry for male validation. And that's another thing that really makes me so upset about her, is, of course, all the things that she's been advocating for, even that, you know, American Eagle commercial. Like, a lot of, like, she's been leaning so heavily towards her sex appeal that a lot of people feel like she's doing it in a controversial way. It's kind of like the Marilyn Monroe effect, truly. Like I said, Marilyn Monroe passed away. I'm speaking for her. Like I said, I could be completely wrong, but there's times I really think about it. I'm like, I fear that, like, she really passed away thinking, like, wow, like, people only ever got to see me from my appearance, but not really got to see me. But it's like, we ended up hearing that she had a really bad childhood and she had such awful cards dealt. And it was like her life was a constant tragedy. But it's like, now you're known beyond just your looks. Well, some people just only want to see your looks, but I see everything that you were before you became Marilyn Monroe. And that's why I respect her so much. I think that's the most devastating thing, because it's like, I hope that, like, Marilyn Monroe probably thinks that she's only admired by men, but you'd be so surprised how many people she's inspired when it comes to fashion, when it comes to, like, for me, she inspires me so much, because when I, like, found out that she had a stutter, like, you don't understand what that does for people like me, okay? I know it might be hard to believe that people, like, think, oh my gosh, like, you have a stutter, you have a podcast, and you're talking perfectly fine. No, bitch. If I were to keep this fucking unedited, like, you would hear it appear, okay? She's inspirational. Like, she's inspirational to me, because it's like, wow, like, I had pretty awful cards dealt. I had a stutter. Like, Marilyn Monroe was so insanely insecure, but you would never know that if you just paid attention to her appearance. If you only focused on her appearance, you would think, wow, she's this beautiful, confident woman who has sex appeal. But the depth behind her was she had very awful cards dealt. Really, really bad cards dealt. And she had a stutter. She was so unconfident, but she got to shape herself into this image that is so empowering and so iconic and just so interesting. And that's kind of the struggle when it comes to pretty privilege. Like, some people are only ever going to see what's on the outside. Like, oh, she's just a person that's beautiful, it's sex appeal, and she's charming and charismatic. But then there's just so much depth behind her. And then that's why people are so frustrated with Sydney Sweeney. Because when it comes to Cassie Howard, when it comes to her character from the show, it's like, dude, your whole personality was like just this woman that men wanted to like take advantage of. Like, they just saw her and they wanted possession of her. They just thought, oh, she's this beautiful woman, you know, her body is exactly what I'm craving, and it's like what they desire, but that's it. They don't care about anything beyond that. And it's kind of crazy how that correlates with her now, because it's like, I hope you understand, like, I feel like she's been catering so much to the male gaze, and I get it. Like, I get both sides. I'm not even judging her. Like, I'm just like trying to create conversation about it because I think it's interesting, where she's catering so much to the male gaze, where it's like, it's kind of like literally like the Matt Rife effect, where it's like you literally blew up interacting with your audience, and your whole audience was women because of your appearance. But then the moment you wanted to start catering to men, it's like you're literally like unappreciating what got you successful to begin with. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade at Sydney Sweeney, because I do feel for her. I really do. Because I get it. You had a decision to make and you did what you felt was best to do. It's like with her, it's like, now that you're catering so much to the male gaze, that is so temporary. And then that's what people who struggle with pretty privilege, or just many areas in life, when you like sell yourself out, it's so temporary. It's such like, you think it's quick gratification, and yes, it's very rewarding. It's so rewarding, I bet, for her to cater to the male gaze and to look some kind of way and to only appeal to men. But once that fades, what are you gonna do? Compared to like actually remaining authentic, that is forever. That is legacy. That is being iconic. If you sat there, remain true to who you were, and like trying to be an advocate for women out there, like building that relationship and like, that diehard fan base, that is going to go with you everywhere you go. No matter what business venture you decide to go, that would have been able to stick way more. But selling yourself out to the male gaze, how long is that going to last? We're talking about men. We're talking about the species of men. No offense to the men out there that are listening to me that love me. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the people that, like, you can't deny that the male species is, we're talking about men here. They're going to desire you until they don't. That's kind of just life. So it's like, you can appeal to this male gaze and get so many opportunities, make so much money, but how long is it really going to last? How is this actually going to like be sustainable until they get sick of you? It's like, this is, a lot of women in, especially we're talking about pop stars, they had to deal with that, where they fed into the sex appeal, but it's only like, people will love you until they hate you. But if you remain authentic to who you are, that's such a different story. People are going to love you because you literally are you. And there's going to be people that resonate with who you are when you're truly authentic to who you are. That's the really interesting thing, is the path that she ended up taking. And the TikTok that I made, I ended the video where I was like, I don't know what the solution is to this issue, because it's like, I don't even like judge her for, like I said, selling herself out, where we're talking about an industry where it rewards that type of behavior. Because remaining authentic to who you are, being outspoken, is not that rewarding. How many people out there, celebrities, artists out there, that remain true to who they were, didn't tolerate specific behavior, that got shunned out, literally got blacklisted? That's literally a term for a reason. And there's a lot of like, messed up situations that happen where people got blacklisted. Literally, Megan Fox, iconic, because she spoke out. It's like things like that, It's like another thing. I think another reason why people really do love Megan Fox, because she spoke out and like remained authentic to who she is, and she's this beautiful woman. But look what that did to her career for a really long time. That's another crazy comparison. Yeah, Megan Fox. But it's like, in this industry, you don't get rewarded for being authentic and being outspoken. But it's like in the world of social media, I really feel like you are now. Like definitely in Hollywood, no. But in the world of social media, I feel like she really could have taken such different paths. But it's really hard for me to say that when like you're in it, it's like such a different experience. That's why I try not to judge people. But it's like really interesting to talk about and think about. Like I said, I don't even know what the solution I would even suggest or say. It's like, this is the industry you're talking about, you know? And it's like, I really want to ask the audience, like, do you think there's any way she could really redeem herself at all? Because that's something I really think about. Because there's a lot of people that derailed their careers but were able to rise above. So, like, I do feel like it's a possibility, but I wonder how she would have to go about it. Unless she became authentic, was like, yeah, I lost myself for a while, you guys, but I'm back. That'd be really interesting to see. But I don't know. And a lot of people are hating her right now for dating Scooter Braun. But a part of me is like, I low-key feel like she's being, like, who knows, that she's playing smart. Of course, morally, is that wrong for you to mess with someone like Scooter Braun? Of course. But at the same time, it's like the amount of opportunities that's attached to a man like him, you know? I don't know. It's definitely not no bueno though. It's definitely not a good look for her. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts in regard to that conversation? Definitely gonna talk about life updates and all of that. So for those who are visually watching this podcast episode, you will see that my hair is black and pink. I decided to go back. Honestly, for anyone who even is like tuning in, it's like, girl, when's the last time you posted? I don't even know. Definitely months ago. I barely posted this year. We're literally approaching the end of the year. And the reason for that is I felt, one, really uninspired by podcasting for a while, but it's mainly the issue at hand was because of the fact that I felt very uncomfortable. Like, obviously, when it comes to podcasting, it's me, like, sharing my voice and voicing my opinion and being vulnerable in certain situations, or even sharing my life. And I felt very, very scared for, like, this whole year represented, like, fear for me. It represented me being vulnerable and, like, me being true to who I am. And I really feel like if you watched me long enough, like, I really feel like I just lost myself. And I feel like me adding my pink back in my hair and dyeing my hair black and me, like, basically going back to my alt roots feels so authentic to me. I feel like I kept trying to change myself to appeal to people. Irony in that, you know, like my parents, they would always make fun, like, oh, I hate you with the colored hair, it looks so cringy with this, like, all, like, you look emo. I even had a friend, like my best friend at the time, she would always like make comments like, all you wear is black. Don't get me wrong, I did fall in love with color, and I'm like so thankful for that, because I love pink obviously now, and like red and like leopard print. Like, there's so much I've fallen in love with, because I used to strictly only ever wear black. So it was really, really nice, like, falling back into, you know, exploring that. But I always did feel judged whenever I looked too emo or too alt to whatever. And it's like, that's literally who I am. I feel like I will forever represent the people that felt like an outcast, that felt different. That will forever be my brand. And I feel like I was trying to go for this, like, glamorous look. Like, I was really trying to play this role of being like this glamorous look of like old money. Like, don't get me wrong, I will forever appreciate the old money aesthetic, but like the reason why I was getting into that aesthetic specifically was I was trying to cater to like the opposite. Like, I feel like also when you're an alt girly, you are heavily sexualized. So like that's kind of obviously what made me start this podcast, me talking about how heavily sexualized I felt for a long time. But that doesn't change. Like, I felt so inauthentic to who I was, like trying to change so much of myself. I was trying to change how I talked, how I acted. And I was like, well, if I'm trying to be this specific version of myself, I need to be more mysterious and not voice myself. Like, I was literally shaping myself so much to like cater to like the approval of my parents, approval of certain people around me at that time. And it's like, now I'm like, wait, but who I am, Ali Rance, like, my brand is me, like, being unapologetically myself and not caring what people think about me. I will forever be the voice for people that feel different, that feel like an outcast. It's all I ever felt my entire life growing up. I was shamed for being so different. And it was such a beautiful thing when I first started creating content, was me being myself, I literally just turned on my camera and started talking about pop culture. And I felt like that weirdo. Like a lot of girls were talking about boys. They were talking about, like the freaking, like, what's it called? Like, not homecoming. Remember school dances? Like, it was like every Friday. Like, girls were just so obsessed with everything other than what I was obsessed with. I was obsessed with pop culture. I was obsessed with icons. And it's like, I was just like the awkward or different person. Like, I was just so shy and awkward. And it's just like, I will forever, like, just like, that's who I am. Like, I feel like I kept trying to hide away from certain parts of myself. And it was just like, you can only hide away from yourself for so long. And then even when I put the pink back in my hair, everyone's like, I literally feel like you're Allie again. They're like, I feel like, they're like, don't get me wrong, like the aesthetic that I had beforehand, I can slay anything, okay? But like when I was remaining true to who I was, like this alt aesthetic, just me being me. Literally, I've always said the best way I can describe my aesthetic or just anything that I do is just unique. Like I wanted to be so different, like so different. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I feel like it was so inauthentic to who I was. The aesthetic and who I was trying to be before, it was like I was just trying to be like everybody else because it felt safer compared to like me being different. And I feel like that's another reason why I stopped podcasting, because I'm like, that would mean I had to be vulnerable and talk about things, be controversial. That is literally me. That is my brand. Not that I'm trying to be controversial, because it's never my intentions, but I might ruffle feathers with how I feel about things. I am passionate. It's literally who I am. It's going to ruffle feathers. And that was another thing like that really scared me. Like was just like, oh my gosh, like podcasting is just so vulnerable. Like I don't want to do that. Like I just want to be mysterious and like whatever. And I did it this whole year and I was so miserable. I love podcasting. And I know I said that in my last podcast. Like I feel like I'm a broken record being like, I miss you guys. I'm going to come back. But it's like part of me felt like for a long time I wasn't, because I was so scared of just being seen. Which is so weird, because for me trying to reach the level that I'm trying to go, I need to be seen and comfortable with that. And I wasn't. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I just wasn't comfortable being seen for such a long time. And now, like, I never felt happier just like turning on this camera and like just being passionate about talking about something again. And I want to continue just doing that. I feel like I was just trying to play it safe for so long. Like I don't want to do commentary. Like I want to do something else because I'm too afraid of like my opinions and this and this and that. I'm literally me. And as long as I'm not really like purposely trying to hurt anyone, I'm just passionate. I'm just a passionate girly about pop culture. Okay? And that's literally all that is. But that is everything for today's episode. I love you guys so much. I have another one coming up. So don't anybody sit there and be like, okay, bitch, you said you're going to come back and you're not. I will be back. I literally have another controversial topic that I'm going to do. It was funny because I was stuck between this one, like, talking about Sydney Sweeney and how pretty privilege is like backfire. It's like, the struggle of like pretty privilege backfiring. Or I was going to do like Wicked, like the Wicked cast and like everyone talking about their bodies and like putting blame onto them because they're supposed to like be a role model to like young women or children that are watching, when I'm like, if you're gonna come at the Wicked cast, come at the whole damn beauty standards that's been around since like what. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day, and that might be the next episode. So you should subscribe because I will be back and I want to bet on you guys. I know my subscribers and my followers probably has abandonment issues now because of me. I do too, so twin. But I love you guys so much. If you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure to give it a 5 stars rating. And if you are watching this on the YouTube podcast channel, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below your thoughts and opinions. Most importantly, subscribe. Because I will be back and I will be consistent. And if I don't, you have every right to DM me on Instagram and tell me to go die. Literally. You have the right, okay? And I promise I will be consistent, okay? I have a lot more to say, a lot of podcast episodes that are just going to be controversial. I've been really heavily contemplating on getting a podcast co-host. And there's someone I've been really thinking about in mind. Saying the word he, like I feel like he would be perfect for my podcast where we could talk about pop culture things and yap about our lives. I think it'll be so fun. It's just, will he be down to do it? So manifesting, because if this were to align and go perfect, oh my God, all the content I'm going to bring for you guys will love it, and it will be but that's enough yapping. I love you guys so very mucho, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye bye.